Start.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I want to welcome everybody to Unconventional Wisdom, CSE Investment Show podcast. Well, I think we're going to have almost full crew today. I think Keith is not here yet, but he usually shows up a little late. Dirk is at the doctor's. I'm pretty sure that Randy has his Thursday foot appointment. Here comes Keith, and we have Joni, Cezanne, and myself, of course, and John up in Chicago, and we've got some great news reports today, plus some other interesting stuff. Keith, how are you?
Doing fine, Joe. Doing fine.
We were just talking. All that weather seems to have passed everybody. It should be up around you by now. All that rain from the Mexico hurricane is up there.
It's supposed to come in late tonight.
I tell you what, it was a mess here. I mean, first time I've seen water just build up on the flat sidewalks downstairs. You know. Build up an inch or two, just from it was so intense.
Yeah.
So, well, good. Okay, want to welcome everybody. Go to our website, compoundstockearnings.com. Sign up for our free Cal report that comes out every Friday. It's going into its 20th year, and has all kinds of good information. You can see what all our clients are doing return wise, and what problems they have, or what fantastic things happen to them because they don't have problems, whatever. But it's free. It's compoundstockearnings.com. Also, you can check out the website. It's got all the things we offer, all the seminars we offer, what they cost, free trials, all kinds of stuff. Compoundstockearnings.com. If you want to call in today, it's 214-377-1108, 214-377-1108. Our distinguished engineer, Marcus, will answer that phone and get you hooked right in. If you want to send an email, go to podcast, compoundstockearnings.com. Podcast, compoundstockearnings.com. So I want to start off a couple of things here. Number one, we got some fantastic reports from Keith and Marion and I think some other stuff that maybe Cezanne and Joni might have that I'm not aware of. But, we always talk about how difficult it is for people to save for retirement. In every article you see, in fact, I've talked about this in last week's Cal Report editorial about the concept is you got to save. And last week it's talked about you got to start saving at 20, and you got to save for 47 years and retire, and you're going to have $2.5 million, which ain't going to be worth anything 47 years from now. And you start at 20, 670 something bucks, 69 bucks, 63, whatever it is, a month for you the rest of your life, and as if you don't have a life. Well, this is an article by a woman named Michelle Summerfield, and it's so cool. And her thing is why I'm not worried about my skimpy retirement savings. I'm going to read it's not a long article, and you see in the Cal Report, but I'm going to read some sentences because it's pretty cool. She says, I'm a planner by nature. I've always had a vision for my future, but despite knowing where you want to go in life, you're never fully prepared for a job loss, divorce, or life going off the rails in some other way. It just happens. Despite our best intentions, life can't be completely planned out. This is why I find it funny that we spend most of our lives retirement planning or planning for our deaths. Don't get me wrong. I'm not shouting in the face of retirement planning or being prepared. I'm not naive enough to think it isn't necessary. What I am saying is that we put away too much focus on the future instead of living each day to the fullest, which, by the way, does not mean spending every penny you have. That's why 2 years ago, when I lost my job, I wasn't worried about my retirement savings. To be honest, how would worrying help me? As I would do in all my extra budget things, the emotional stress was just too much. Although I've been back on track since, I'm still not worried about being behind on my retirement savings. The magical $1 million saved, Randy, his thing always rings twice, so he must be at the doctor. Anyhow, the magical $1 million saved for retirement number, or all the what's its. Why? Life happens. Life is always evolving and changing. I've been through breakups, divorces, job losses, bad financial decisions, the works. And you know what I've learned? I've always come out the other side. I'll believe that we say what doesn't, kill you makes you stronger. And here's things she says are worse than retirement if you don't have enough retirement savings. Things that could be much worse. I could be homeless, critically ill, or worse, dead. My goals don't automatically vanish. They're just temporarily postponed. Even the smallest changes of of life creates a Tsushima effect. How do you say that? The ocean coming up that way down. There's always time to catch up. I'm getting real close to the end of this. It says also, even if my original plan is not to work into retirement, I can always keep working if I need to. We all have skills we can use to keep working or get a part-time job. And now and all these Main Street broker guys say, also besides retiring, saving all that money, when you retire, you still got to get a job. Not a corporate job, of course, blah, 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 blah. It says, when all else fails, I simply remind myself that things always work themselves out in the end. Now, and my contention is this, and it's what I've been talking about all the time, and all these geniuses, retirement people, come up and say, you got to save, save, save. You can't save. And I've got other articles where they blatantly mention you got to have a small car. You got to have a small house. You got to not go out to eat all the time. If you have kids, make sure they're midgets so they don't eat very much, take up much space. But all that kind of stuff happens. And how can you worry about all that and then also save money over here and then try to invest it? I mean, it's just totally, absolutely insane that you could try to pull that off. And so my contention is this: use any one of our techniques, Randy's techniques, more traditional covered calls, Cezanne Joni's, micro moments, keys, and just take one, put $1,000 in there. Forget about it. That's going to be and you can still contribute to a savings account if you want to, but just forget about all that because that puts pressure on you. And just do one trade, average one trade a week, 1% in any of these. And in about 15 years, you're going to have your $2.5 million, which is the other route. You had to worry about it and save for 47 years to get there. And then just forget about it. Just let it grow, and don't take anything out of it. Remember, you're not putting any money into it. Just have it over there to the left side of your ledger, and the right side is where you got all these things you worry about, and getting divorced and getting remarried and having kids go to school and all this crap, just one thing after another for the rest of your life. And just take care of that, and don't try to put some money in 401k. That's free. Anytime they match it, that's just free money. Forget about that. But don't worry about savings. Just absolutely not worry. It's just not worth it. And the other thing is a story came out this morning. The average kid graduating college today has $30,000 in debt. Now, obviously, some have none, but the average kid that graduates has $30,000 in student loans. Here's my contention: forget that crap. Why don't you send him to college and incur $30,000? If he took the $30,000, doesn't even start investing until he's 22 years old. He'd be out of college then. Take that $30,000 he's run up in debt and give it to him to start using one of our techniques. In 10 years, he's got $5.5 million. In 10 years, he can retire at 32. In 15 years, he's got $70 million. So it's not something he's going to sit there and work on every single day and worry about it, go out and be a day trader. It's just not going to happen. And it doesn't need to happen. So you've got this money over here that you're doing this stuff, and you don't really care. You just do your one trade. You're not going to work doing this or anything. You're over here with them, screwing around with your life and doing all this stuff, savings and putting money in 401ks, and raising kids, and buying houses and doing all that stuff. But at least you can do it with more money. You can have a nice house. You can have a nice car because you got your small amount over here that's taking care of yourself. You may have to work on it maybe once a week for 5 or 10 minutes, and that's it. Otherwise, you don't mess with it. In fact, sometimes you may not look at it. As money gets bigger, you don't need to look at it. You may not look at it for 6 months. But just keep it over there and do the techniques. And don't be trying to combine life with savings. It's just not going to work. Okay. Let me see. If it's either Randy or hold on a second. Okay, he's at the doctor. Okay, I guess that was him. And Dirk's at the doctor. Okay, everybody's at the doctor. Okay, so Cezanne Joni, what happened today? Tell us. You might kind of relate the letter you had from the gentleman that you answered on your podcast, your seminar today, your Thursday seminar. So, because it was a good letter to other people I know. So, one of y'all pick that up and explain that. Just don't jump at it so fast.
I'm not sure which one you're referencing at the moment.
The letter about the guy had 3 questions, I think. Like, how do you do the trades so fast? How do you, so on and so forth? Joni read it.
Yes. Yeah. Specific to our type of trading, he just had some mechanic questions about how to get in and out, how to do it quickly. Wanted to know just about some of our indicators. And so his was more of mechanics towards our trading system. But some of the things that we addressed this morning are just the climate of the environment and what we're having to do in this environment. And so a lot of what we're having to do is sit out, which actually takes more discipline than it does to actually trade. So we've got a volatile market. We have got a lot of swings. And while our indicators work in any environment, the option prices aren't necessarily working with us. They're actually working against us. And so this is just a time period where you sit out. You watch it, you know when to trade, when not to trade. There's been plenty of environments where we're trading 2 and 3 times a week. So a lot of what we talked about, Joe, this morning was just being patient and using the indicators in a way that makes good conservative trades and not trading just because you want to.
Exactly. And a lot of people, they still have patience to do nothing. And, you got to have patience when you're investing to do nothing, because if you just have to do something, you're going to do something wrong. It's going to cost you money. And y'all are up, I don't know, 130, 40, whatever percent so far this year with only one loss year to date, one loss of 3%. So you can sit here, you can cut off your computers and as I mentioned on your seminar, not do anything for the rest of the year. And nobody's going to come close to you except possibly John and Keith. Nobody. So you don't have to do something every day. The part of being able to invest is not doing something every day. If you think about the big mutual funds that have all these geniuses that work at these Wall Street firms, and they only make 6% a year, what the hell are they doing the rest of the time? Either they're sitting there and asleep and on dope, or else they're doing trades and losing money. How can you sit there not 365 trading days? How many trading days there are a year? And only make 6%. It means you're asleep. You're something, or you're extremely, extremely, extremely dumb, and you shouldn't even have the job. But that's all they make. The Cowpers, a guy out there in California, that handles all retirement money in California. They're lucky, and they say they're lucky. Sometimes they want to make 7. They're going to be lucky to make 5 or 6. How can you do that if you're going to work 8 hours a day? You've got to be the dullest people on the face of the earth to only make 6% a year. We're talking a year, not a month. A year. How can you do that? It's just totally, absolutely craziest thing I've ever seen. So sometimes you don't do anything. You have to have a technique, though. It's, you can think of investing like boiling water. And then you get to compounding. Now, this is one of my wilder examples, okay? You get to compounding. Compounding, the theory, the money grows, and you're making 6% per month in 47 years. If you put in $600 and $700 a month for 47 years, you'll have $2.5 million. Won't be worth anything. Our deal, you'll have it in 10 years, 15 years, and never put in any more than $1,000, or the same $600. So compounding, you got to compound at some rate that makes a difference. Like if you put something into water that's only 200 degrees, and you say, I'm boiling it because it's hot. It's really hot. It's going to work. Well, no, it's not. You need 220 degrees or whatever the hell it is for boiling. And so you got to get the compounding rate up there that makes a difference over time. Like you don't want to compound 1% per year. Sure as hell don't want to compound, and which all the experts do, 6% per year. It doesn't amount to anything over 40, 50 years. And you're probably going to be dead anyhow. So like the lady said in the article, if you're planning for retirement, saving every month, you're thinking about death, and you sacrifice your life. When are you ever going to live? I mean, you're alive today. You should be living for today. Okay, that's my radical, handout. What do you think about it? What do you think about that, Keith? You're a radical.
Yeah, I would say there's a lot to be said for that, for not just living today, but okay. So I'm going to come at it from a slightly different twist, Joe. I'm also thinking about my future after death too. So you got to be thinking about that too, whether you're going up or down on that. So, but anyway, so that's my 2 cents on that.
You mean that's it?
Well, I don't want to stand on my soapbox for an hour and a half here, but what she says is very important. Very important. and take a hold of what you have now and concentrate on what you can do. So doing these trading techniques, I think, can be very beneficial.
Well, given the fact, Keith, that only, I think 30% of the U.S. population has enough money to come anywhere close to retire. That means the vast majority do not. And my whole point is, if you think about trying to save and integrate that in with all your day-to-day stuff and sacrifice all your day-to-day stuff, then at the end of the day, you really don't end up savings, because you got your savings over here that was going to be your retirement money all confluted in with all this stuff going on. And if you just take one time and just use compounding to its fullest with one simple technique that you maybe spend a few minutes a week on, a few minutes a month on, that's going to actually grow. And just keep that separate over here in your mind and everywhere else. Is this, hey, I'm taking care of this. I'm not trying to combine, because otherwise people would do it.
I would agree. I think that's a great approach. That's a great approach.
They just don't do it. You got to do something. We have to figure out some way people can actually have retirement and not screw up all the other things they're doing in life, because they're not going to do it. They're just like that theory that 20-year-old kid's going to start saving at $2,680 a month, whatever it was. He ain't going to do it. Why would the street come up with some cockeyed thing like that? No 20-year-old's still going to start saving $600 a month. He barely can drive a car. Certainly can't put his shoes on. How the hell is he going to save $600? So my whole point is,
I would agree.
My whole point is what's doable. What's doable. We have to do something that's doable, and our stuff is doable because people do it all the time. You can even do it with pink eye, so you can have physical disabilities, and get it done. Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, good.
Yeah. And I agree with what Cezanne and Joni were saying about this is tough market sometimes, and with these huge ups and downs, particularly on the techniques I use, you're better off sometimes sitting out for a little bit till things straighten out a little bit, and that's the hardest decision sometimes, to not trade, but it's the smartest and the wisest one. So
well, last week during our podcast here, you were talking about you had a couple of trades that were really looking pretty good, but you didn't do them. So that's what you're talking about. So how did those come out? That was a week ago.
Well, and I didn't do them, and they would have been an absolutely terrible situation. Yep. And in fact, the CMIC that I was looking at, the Iron Condor, I was looking at last Thursday, right after the podcast, it was really great. On the surface, it was significantly wider separation of the short strikes than I've been able to do recently. Absolutely significantly wider. And we'd be sitting where we are now. We'd be sitting about 40 points in the money on that if I would have gotten into that.
Yeah.
It's just on the Iron Condors, you want things to be fairly flat.
Yeah.
And they just haven't been.
They just weren't there.
So don't say excuses about why you're not trading. It just doesn't make sense right now.
And look, you're I think over 50% for the year, something like that. Maybe a lot more. I don't know. So you could technically just not have to do anything.
That's right. That's right.
Why jeopardize what you've done?
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I talk about on my webinars on Tuesday, I go through all the potential CSM trades, and there were 6 of them here this week that I was looking at, and they weren't quite there yet. They were on the watch list, and I'm glad I didn't get into them, because they would have been all underwater after yesterday's move. It just, so you wait for the charts to really look good and get in and take your modest gains when you can, by not staying in for very long.
But here's also the difference is you know the rules to follow. The people that are attending your seminars are learning those rules to follow, and they're going to do just as well. It's not like you're just sitting there speculating that some things are not going. You've got definitive guidelines that kind of give you the odds of making the right decision. In other words, not just speculating. I mean, no, you can't ever be perfect.
Absolutely. And speaking of seminar, Joe, I'll be teaching the 2-day credit spread seminar this weekend online. So
okay, there you go.
So they can go online the website and sign up for that, and tune in for teaching Saturday and Sunday.
There you go. I think it's so important. Most people don't realize. I know day traders. They have these these schools where people go and day trade every day. How can you do that? I mean, you know, they think they got to do something. They think they have to do something because they're sitting there. And some days you just don't do anything, you know. I mean, you know, I can remember when the day that Cezanne and Joni had that 3% loss. I mean, I was ready to burn them at the stake. I mean, 3%, you know, for a year so far. I mean, how bad is that, right? So, anyhow, okay. Well, thank you very much, Keith. And so now turn over here to our captive man up in Chicago, our captive trader. And you know, he has just, you have to tell this. Since last Thursday, every Thursday, I get an email that has all his activity from the previous Thursday. And then he's done one today that wasn't in this email because it was just done the day after he sent this email. So, John, why don't you kind of bring us up? John is been with us a long time. We call him our captive client because he started off as a client. He still is a client, but he's just you know, burning it up. Kind of talk about that email you sent.
Well, I started yesterday afternoon putting this out because I had a couple errands I had to do. So I typed in the two that I had already sent you. So I had to underline those and say, whoops, those are previously reported. So I really only had 11 trades last week till last night. And that came out at 98.31%. It was just bouncing along like crazy. The best one on there was, I guess, 13.4% in the middle of, on the 22nd, whatever day that was, Tuesday. Anyway, then this morning I got into one, well, the guys were blowing the leaves out in the backyard and I made 29.41%.
Now, were these, I know you've got the time on all of these, and all these people listening to the program, these will be in the Cal report under client emails. And you can see all these times, like the minute, 3 minutes, here's one 10-minute. This one is 10 minutes. Was it entered as a micro moment? It just took longer to get out of it, or what?
Yeah, I just kind of hesitated. It's like doing chin-ups. You know, you think you're going to get 20 in there, and you get to that 19th one, you just can't quite get your chin up again, and it goes down.
Exactly.
But,
yeah.
It came right back up, and next thing you know, it closed. So I was just really pleased that I didn't have anything go over an hour in this thing. In fact, I think the longest one was 20 minutes, 21 minutes, something like that, which is, oh, I'm sorry. No, there was a 51 minute in there. I kind of.
Yeah. I could never do this. I can't stay that long. So I would enter the trade and immediately fall asleep and miss it.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the micro trades.
Don't have the time I did it, but I was probably feeding the dogs or something like that. So I didn't get a chance to get back. But everything was under an hour. So I was pretty proud of that for a change. Sometimes it's micro moment for me is a little bit longer, but yeah, I kept these mostly down to 3, 4, 5 minutes. So it was pretty good. I can't move my finger that fast on the phone, but
and you know, Keith, on your seminars, do you have any of them that have like a free week or something of getting your emails up to date or what?
I don't know what the office is offering these days, Joe. I think you do get, if you pay for the seminar this weekend, I think you get a week free or something on that, but I'm not certain of that.
And the reason that's important because Keith, when you subscribe to his service and he does a trade or he prepares to do a trade, he's using his real money and he tells you when he's getting ready to do before he does it. You get it by email, which is really only good for to file away, but you get it on your trading screen and you get it on your smartphone. You get these things before he does them. Then when he's getting ready to get out of them, well, then when he does them, you get it instantly too. But at least you've already prepared for it. You just ready to hit send, and then you get prepared when he's telling you, I'm going to be getting out of this, and you prepare for that. And then when you get his say, hey, I'm out now, you know, then you hit yours, or he says, I'm hitting it now. He didn't wait and say I'm out. I'm hitting it now. And you get those. So you can mirror this stuff. And you know, you don't have to spend all day learning this stuff. It's great to learn. Our whole thing is you need to learn this stuff. Do it yourself, but you don't have to. Cezanne and Joni, the exact same way. You know, Randy, the exact same way. You get all those trades before they do them, and you get them instantly. It's just incredible. And then you always got the ability to come back here and ask questions, send in emails, ask questions if you have some kind of problem or something like that on anything.
You know, Joe, they can follow along on the Cal report and see those emails too. But the advantage of the service, if you're just learning them, is you get it real time while you're looking at the charts and seeing what's happening in the charts at that time too.
Mm-hmm.
Which you can't do. Which you can't do if you're just looking on the cow report.
Absolutely. Good point. Yep. There's just all kinds of stuff going on. Hold on just a second. Yeah. Okay. Does anybody else have anything else? We'll call it a day. It's been a good day. A lot of stuff going on. Anybody have anything? Hey, Marcus, do you have anything? I have a couple more things. And I thought Dirk didn't have to go to the doctor. He's at the doctor also. I think this technique must make a lot of people sick. I'm not really exactly sure why they always at the doctor. But we've got huge changes coming up in the huge changes coming up in the feeds and the charting and all that schedule to go effective sometime around the 1st of November to the middle of November, and certainly through the end of November, it'll be completely on board. There may be some things left out. It's just when you're starting huge change like that, it's going to be much better than it is now. But there's going to be a transition period. So if you have a problem with something, just let us know. If you don't let us know, we won't be able to get our computer. We won't know about it to get our computer people to fix it. So when something comes up, don't panic. Hey, and tell us. Otherwise, we're not going to know what you need to do to get it fixed. What we need to do to fix it for you. And that's coming up. Okay, Marcus, back to you. Anything coming up on the technology side here? Any fantastic things that you're working on?
No, I'm looking at new driverless computers.
What is that?
No, I'm just kidding.
Nothing
to do. It's all the same. It's all the same.
Yeah.
It's good.
Okay. And I told everybody my experience with my wife's car when I went up to Cezanne's house last.
Right.
I'd never driven it. And it's a Lexus, and it's not a driverless, but it's so almost driverless that I could actually, put it in the right-hand lane, put it on 70 miles an hour, and if I got within did somebody in front, it automatically slow down. But then it would change lanes. It would identify if there was somebody coming up. It would change lanes and then take right back off again because whatever was up is no longer up there to slow it down. And I tried it going around a corner. For me, I shouldn't have tried going around a corner because it was on a bridge. In fact, remember Cezanne, the last bridge going to your house when you get off the interstate heading north? You got that wide swoop of that access road.
Yes.
So I'm going along there about 60 miles an hour, and there's no car in front of me. So I figured, okay, I'm going to see if it will actually make this turn going 60 miles an hour. And it made it perfect. I didn't have to touch the wheel. And then when it got around, I had the speed on 70. It got around, then it shot because it was picking up the water, and you couldn't go 70 in that curve. It all went back up to 70 when it got out there on the highway again. And I didn't touch anything. So I figured next time I'm going to take naps, coming up there in between, But it's so cool because it'll pull in behind something or in front of you, and you see you got on 70 and it's a big truck and they're going 65 or 60, whatever. It's going to slow down. It's going to slow down, and then it's going to kind of indicate it'd like to go to the left. And it is just touch the wheel. Then it's going to cross the line, going to catch up over here. It's going to line itself up again, so it's not going to keep going all the way to the left side of the road. And then the sensor is going to say there's nobody in front. It's going to go back up to speed. And it's all this stuff automatically. So it's not.
You sound like a self-driving evangelist.
Well, no, I'm just saying all it's lacking is something to tell it exactly where it wants to take you. That's what it doesn't have. So I'm sure you could plug it in. They probably in a couple of years have a little module you can plug it in. Now it'll be a self-driving car. So yeah. So I know you're gloating over there, but
You're gloating. You have a Lexus that drives itself. I don't have one of those.
Kids night at the bowling alley when they put the bumpers up so you can't throw a gutter ball.
Hey, I saw the neatest thing and it's a TV ad, and this kid was original. And since I'll mention this because this is Unconventional Wisdom, CSE Investment Podcast. I'm sure you've seen the ad on TV. It was about forming new companies, and this kid's not very old. Looks like maybe in high school. He took a bowling ball and started painting bowling ball different colors and faces on them and all kinds of stuff. Joni, have you seen that? You were kind of nodding. Have you seen that ad? And it was talking about then, it was a packaging company. Then he had to, you start selling these things. He had to box them up, and that was all about the packaging. But I thought, well, that's pretty creative. Bowling ball. How boring is a bowling ball? Black. Black. They've always been the same color, and now you can get them pink and red and blue and white and faces on them and all kinds of stuff. I thought that was pretty neat. all this stuff. We'll do a whole editorial on that next time. I'm not sure what we'll talk about. Okay, well, thank y'all very much. Cezanne, hope your pink eye works out okay. And Keith, thank you very much for being here.
Thank
Okay.
you.
We'll see
Have
you.
a good week, everybody.
Thank you. See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So long.